Dog, dog. Hi, and welcome to Doug Boring's World Series reviews. I noticed on YouTube, I love the World Series, and I noticed there's no reviews of them. I think that someone should watch them and review them so that people know what's going on with the World Series. The one was real fun with the Dodgers, and they win, and the Blue Jays won. That was fun. So I want to learn about all of them. The first one was in 1903. That's a really long time ago. Um, Baseball wasn't even very around for very long. They did it in like the 1800s, and they don't know who made it, and they say it's Elmer Doubleday or some stuff. But the National League was not 1876, and that's Cincinnati Reds and all those guys. And then if baseball originally was for like nice people, they would have clubs and they would sing jaunty little songs and stuff, and they had hats that looked like soup cans, and their mustaches, and but and then they tried to make other leagues, and it didn't really work because the National League's kind of mean. So in the 1890s, it gets real mean and nasty. The baseball players go from these fun guys that sing and stuff to the guys that wear big long spikes and spit all the time and do karate kicks on each other on the bases, and it's pretty mean. But it's nasty. So there's only one league for a long time that was any good. There's some other ones, but then 1901, the American League comes about. The National League gets smaller, goes to 12 teams, 8 teams. The American League is like, let's be a league. They make the American League in 1901. A guy Van Johnson makes it. He's a big fat guy. They make a lot of people come to the games, and it's fun, and they start selling more tickets, and they think they should maybe have like a World Series. Like maybe the best team from American League play the best team from the National League. 1903, they finally agree to do it, and the teams agree to do it. I don't think the leagues like each other very much. I think they're still fighting. So I'm going to tell you about the first World Series. Well, the first World Series in 1903. Pittsburgh tried to have other ones. They tried to challenge American League All Stars 1902 exhibition, but no one cared because it was not a good idea. They were not good. Baseball is pretty different in 1903. The rules were kind of different, but mostly it was just weird being there in 1903. It was weird being there. It was different. They probably didn't do enough fun stuff in old baseball because you got to understand baseball is pretty different back then. Like the main thing is, like a baseball is like hard and white, and you can hit it and it goes crack on the bat and it goes real far. But in the old days, baseball was really mushy. It was squishy and brown and gross. And if you hit it, gross liquids came out of it. I think they stored them in buckets of chewing tobacco. I think they just stored it in dip spit and just pulled them out and to keep them fresh. They liked tobacco. They love tobacco. Smoking is not good for you, and chewing is not good for you. 1903, the Boston Americans versus Pittsburgh Pirates is first World Series, first championship. Boston Americans are the Red Sox. They get called Red Sox later. Maybe they didn't have socks, or maybe they didn't. Maybe it was in black and white. I don't know. They just were called the Boston Americans. The other ones were the Pittsburgh Pirates from the National League, and they're pirates, so they're probably the bad guys. The Americans are probably the good ones, right? I mean, it's American League and National League. Anyway, they play and they do best of 9, which is too many games. It's too many games. Pittsburgh wanted to play an 11-game series. That's crazy. Who does that? No one does that stuff ever. And I think in the old days they would just wanted to work harder or something. I don't know what their problem was. They used to pitch too much. They don't do relief pitchers. And there was a guy named Deacon Philippi who pitched like 5 complete games. And the Red Sox had Cy Young. You know what's crazy? Cy Young never won a Cy Young award. That's nuts. I think that's really unfair. The Pirates had a hard time with pitching in this one. They they have a pitcher named Sam Lever who was shooting trap or shooting, and he hurt himself, and so he couldn't do very good. And they had a guy named Ed Doheny who went bananas bonkers crazy, and they put him in the asylum, and he didn't pitch ever again. I'm sorry, that's not good. In the 1903 World Series, the Pirates and the Americans, Boston, play each other. There's lots of first things happened in the World Series because it was the first one, so there's lots of first things that happened. The first hit was Tommy Leach. He hit triple, it's 3 bases. Honus Wagner drove in the first run. They call it RBIs. First home run is a guy named Jimmy Sebring. I think he's a rookie, and he just ran around the bases really fast because they couldn't get the ball because they didn't want to look too like they were showing off. A guy named Patsy Doherty, Doug Doherty, he hit 2 home runs, and he hit 1 over the fence, and it pissed people off. One of the weirdest things, if you like baseball now, is they didn't do home runs the same way. Like, they liked you to be fast and run around the base, but if you hit it in the stands where the people were sitting, they didn't like that. They're like, this is our spot. We sit here. The ball stays on the field. That's where you play baseball. Don't hit it in. Don't. 1903, they didn't like home runs, but they did like fielding errors. The most famous, best thing you could do in 1903 was make a lot of creative, fun fielding errors on the field trying to play defense with your glove. They had tiny gloves, and they had a big stinky ball, and they made lots of fun bad throws. The best player of 1903 was a guy named Honus Wagner from the Pirates. He's a shortstop, and he's made a lot of errors. He made 6 errors in the World Series for the Pirates, which probably makes him the World Series MVP and one of the greatest fielders of his time. And Boston made 3 errors in the top of the first because they really wanted to impress. They made a combined 33 errors in that first World Series. That's how much they wanted the people to like the games. They want people to come in and like the World Series, and for there to be more World Series. The 1903 World Series was it was stupid. It was dumb. They didn't know how many people were going to be there, so they didn't. I don't know if they had walls yet or something. They had walls. They had walls in 1903. They put up ropes on the outside of the outfield so people could stand, and they decided that if the ball rolled under the rope, it was a triple. And there's a lot of triples. There was 17 ground rule triples. That's stupid. That's dumb. The Boston Americans won 5 games, and the Pirates won 3. So American League wins the first one, even though they're the newer league, and people in the older league had the Pirates. The Pirates get paid more for some reason. I don't know, because Americans maybe they just don't. I don't know. The owners get paid more. If you want to rate the World Series, maybe we should think of some criteria for you rating the World Series. Number one thing, I think most important thing about baseball is if the names are good. If players have fun names and good names, and you want some funny names. You want the good names. You got guys named Candy LaChance and Long Tom Hughes and Hobie Ferris, and you have Brickyard Kennedy. You got some pretty stupid names. It's good. It's pretty good. The second thing is probably my favorite team is the Detroit Tigers. I like the Detroit Tigers, but they don't have any of the guys I know. I know, when I was little, Cecil Fielder, Mickey Tettleton, Antrell Lou Whitaker, Travis Fryman, Mickey Tettleton, Jack Morris, and they don't have them. It's like Honus Wagner and Deacon Blues and Cy Young. The third criteria probably is if the games are good and if it's close and if they go 9 games. I don't know. So Cy Young, Honus Wagner, first one ever. They do inside the park home runs. They do lots of errors. but the play is dumb. They don't know how to field the ball. They can't. They don't do home runs. This is not very good. You don't like to watch it. Let's that's the 1903 World Series, the first one. World Series are so fun to watch and to talk about and think about and look at the numbers. I can't wait to do the next one. 1904 World Series should be really fun. I don't want to look ahead. I don't want to spoil it for myself or for. Don't want to spoil it for anyone that's listening. But how did I watch the 1903 World Series? My friend's dad works for baseball. He showed me the film reel.